if there is someone else in their life right now, I want you to pay attention to this reading, because this doesn't look like a simple case of them, choosing someone else and moving on. There's still feelings here, there's still unfinished business, and there's a decision this person has been avoiding here. So today, we're going to find out what they actually feel for you, what is keeping them connected to this other person, and most importantly, who or what really has in their heart right now. So let's begin the reading. The first energy is Hangman. This is the energy between you two. This is where, um, the connection feels stuck. The Hangman tells me that there hasn't been much movement. And I think this energy showed up in yesterday's Hindi reading as well, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening here. Someone is thinking, watching, reconsidering, trying to understand the situation from a different perspective here. It's almost like the connection has been suspended for a reason, because there's reflection that needs to happen. There's perspective that needs to be understood here. Something needs to be understood before either of you can really move forward. So you've been given this time to reflect on. And I won't say that this other person only has to reflect. Maybe you also need to reflect. What are you gaining here in the situation? What do you truly want? Are you happy? What do you want to do? Where do you want to take things? Now, their feelings towards you are Tower. Um, this is where the reading gets interesting, because I have Tower here. See, this person has not been emotionally unaffected by you. You have kind of shaken their world. You have set their world on fire. Everything came crumbling down. So, um, something about this connection has shaken them for sure. So, you may have challenged something they believed about themselves, relationships, love, or even the direction their life was taking. And I don't necessarily see this as a comfortable feeling for them. Whenever one is challenged, mm, it's not comfortable. And that's what this person is feeling. Sometimes the strongest connections aren't the easiest one. And that's what I see here. So, no, I don't see indifference here. I see impact. Now we have Seven of Pentacles. So if you've had this feeling of, okay, but what does this person actually want from you? Seven of Pentacles gives a very interesting answer here. This is where they're looking at what has happened between the two of you, what they have invested, what they have received, what they have lost. They're still assessing this connection in some way. And whether there's still something here worth pursuing. Now, you may not like me saying this, but these are the kind of thoughts. It doesn't have to be this exact thought, but these are the kind of thoughts this person has in mind here. So, but also they're not rushing. This is a very slow moving energy where you take your time to decide, and especially with Hanged Man, it's all making sense here. So, this is someone standing back and asking themselves, what happens if I continue investing in this? Where could this actually go? Now, Queen of Pentacles. So, let's address the elephant in the room, Queen of Pentacles. This is where it gives me a very strong feminine energy here. For many of you, this can absolutely represent another woman or another person who has a significant place in their current life. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partner. This could be a mother. It could be a motherly figure. It could be a friend. It could be even, a father figure, because these are just energies. The gender can definitely change. But I want you to hear me carefully here, that the presence of another person does not automatically tell us that, what they feel for that person. Someone can be connected to somebody and still be emotionally conflicted. So this person is connected with some sort of stability. This could be, again, like I said, marriage, or it could even be finances, or somebody they are tied to financially. So that is where I think the the challenge for this person also is. Eight of Swords. See, this is where the story changes with the third party situation, because Eight of Swords does not show me somebody who feels completely free and emotionally at ease in that situation. This is where you feel stuck. I see restriction, mental pressure, overthinking, feeling trapped, feeling like there are things they can't easily change. And that's where the stability part, I think, comes in. So if you've been imagining that they are with this person, they're happy, everything is perfect, and they've completely forgotten about you, that's not what these cards are showing me. There may be a connection there, but there are complications. And I think this person feels much more stuck than they are letting anyone see. So, and when I say connection, it doesn't have to be romantic. This is a very practical situation, is what I see here. Now we have judgment. See, what keeps them here is something is unfinished. This could be a decision that hasn't been made, a responsibility, something from the past, a situation that hasn't reached its proper conclusion. And this is an important distinction here, because sometimes we remain connected to someone because, not because we are deeply in love, we have a lot of passion here or something, uh, but maybe we haven't figured out how to close that chapter. um, I'm getting much more of the this energy that, they don't know how to close that chapter. Not because they are in love, they're passionate energy. They can't live without them. No, I'm not getting that. See, what they're not telling you is, we have Three of Swords. So there is genuine pain underneath this situation. Maybe this person has hurt you. Maybe they are also hurt. It would be different for different people, the situation. There may have been heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, separation, or something that has hurt one or more people involved here. I feel it's not just you who's hurt. For some of you, there are more than you and this person who's been hurt. And with the third party energy already sitting here, for some of you, this can be absolutely, a triangle here. But I think the deeper message is that someone here has not really dealt with their hurt. They're still carrying it. So they're not telling you about the disappointments or hurt that they are dealing with as well. Now we have Two of Wands. See, why the situation has been sitting in limbo is what Two of Wands is telling me. This is somebody looking in two different directions. They want to move forward, but something is holding them back. One path is familiar, one represents something very different, something they want to explore. And they're trying to decide what kind of future they actually want here. So I don't think the biggest problem is that they don't have feelings. Their problem is that they don't know what they're prepared to, do with these feelings, and that's a very different thing. We have Six of Cups. See, now this is probably the card I was most interested in seeing. Because the strongest emotional hold is connected to the past. And if you and this person have history together, this can very strongly point back towards you. The memories, the familiarity, the emotional bond, those little, things about the connection that don't disappear just because somebody decides they should. These things come from, within us, and we can't just disconnect with them. So the presence of another person does not automatically mean that this person's heart belongs there, because that I did not see with that Eight of Swords and stuff. Someone can be physically present in the situation while emotionally carrying another connection, with them. That's what's happening here. Queen of Wands. See, this brings attraction, confidence, chemistry, magnetic energy back into the reading here. So I do feel that their attention, can turn back towards you, because this is where, what are they going to do next, likely. They may become more curious about you. They may start watching you more closely. They want to know what you're doing, whether you moved on, whether you're still waiting for them. But I wouldn't necessarily expect some huge dramatic declaration immediately. This feels more like attraction becoming difficult for them to ignore anymore. See where this connection is heading? The Moon. The future isn't completely clear. Moon creates uncertainty. See, there are feelings here. There are things happening underneath the surface, but there are also things that haven't been revealed. And because of that, I don't want to sit here and tell you that they're definitely coming back. Although I intuitively do feel they are definitely coming back. Um, but, you know, there is still uncertainty. There's still something that needs to come into light, is what Moon talks about. So, and until it does that, I would be careful about filling the gaps with assumptions with this particular reading. Now, Three of Wands is finally the cards bring us back to us. Three of Wands is where it is asking you to look beyond the current situation, just one person, because your future is bigger than whatever decision this person eventually makes. You can care about them, you can still have feelings, you can hope that something changes, but you don't make the entire horizon depend on whether they turn around and choose you. Putting this whole reading together here, yes, I do see, third party energy here, but I don't see a simple story where someone else comes into their life. They are, it's all hunky dory. You have been erased. I don't see that. I see someone who's conflicted. I see unfinished business. I see the weight of past. I see attraction, and I see a decision that's not been made yet. Um, but at the same time, don't use someone else's confusion a place to build your home. You don't have to compete with another person. You don't have to solve their situation for them. It's them who have to, kind of figure it out themselves. And you don't have to spend every day trying to decode what they are doing. Let reality reveal itself. See, because sometimes clarity doesn't arrive as a confession. Sometimes it arrives as a pattern you can no longer ignore. And when you finally see the pattern clearly, you stop asking what they want from me, and you start asking, what do I want my life to feel like? And that's the question you need to ask today. Um, See, this is saying take care of yourself, expand your horizon, and think about your own future. Stay open to this person, but don't hold yourself back from moving ahead in your life. I hope this gave you some clarity, and thank you for watching.